It is 13 minutes to 8 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us on Morning News Today. Now, a few days ago, we had a story for you on the deadly ambrosia beetle, also known as Polyphagous Shot Hole Borer. The beetle, which originates from Asia, has been infecting trees with a fungus that blocks the vascular system. It eventually kills the tree. Now, could Johannesburg's urban forest be under threat? To speak to us about this is Johannesburg City Park's Jenny Moodley. Jenny, good morning.
Thank you so much.
Sad and a pity what's happening with the trees. Give us an idea of what you've had to do to try and contain this.
Yes, absolutely. I think first and foremost is we're working closely with the academics that are researching the beetle. We know that it hails from the southeast of Asia. We also know that it was in South Africa first detected in 2017, but in Johannesburg only in 2018. Last week, we removed 20 trees in Craighall Park. These are box elders. Now, your box elders are as much as they're not the most highly infested, we're finding that they're more likely to succumb to the Polyphagous Shot Hole Borer. So we put together a management plan. Part of that management plan is to build awareness around the Polyphagous Shot Hole Borer, what sort of symptoms to look for. And the symptoms, basically, it's pinholes, little pinholes on the bark of the tree. It's got a frass-like oozing coming from the tree. It's got a resin. So these are some of the immediate telltales. But of course, one of the bigger ones is the Fusarium dieback. So you're seeing sometimes the crown of the tree or the side of the tree dying back. And that is an immediate concern. So we're urging residents to inspect your trees, not only your private trees, but also the street trees, and to let us know if that tree is infested.
Is it only this particular type of tree that falls victim to this?
Yes, sadly, as much as the box elder is most impacted, we are finding that there are various other species, over 42 actually, that are being compromised. Some, of course, as much as the beetle has embedded itself in the tree, is not resulting in the immediate death of the tree. This could be a gradual process. So our responsibility is to monitor our street trees. We are currently mapping these trees, finding out which are the most highly infested areas. We know your Craighalls, your Dunkels, some parts of Saxonwold and so on. Even at the Joburg Botanic Gardens, we've spotted a tree that has been infested. So we are also saying to residents, this is at this stage still in a very contained area. We had some reports that it could be in Soweto. We inspected those trees, and we'd like to assure residents that those newly planted trees are not affected. We also are finding that residents are seeing any frass or resin-like oozing from a tree, and they immediately assume it's the Polyphagous Shot Hole Borer. Again, we're saying look for those pinholes, and if you're finding that your tree has died back, then create a little bark opening and look under that bark, and you would see these pinholes. They're very minute beetles. They're smaller than an ant. So it's hard to find sometimes, but once you find these pinholes, that's an immediate telltale sign that you unfortunately have the Polyphagous Shot Hole Borer.
Is there any way to sort of treat trees or prevent the beetles from getting to others in any way, so we don't lose any more trees? Because these trees that you've had to fell, they won't be able to grow again, would they? Or is there still a possibility that... So sadly, how can we save them rather than having to cut down prevention?
This is unfortunately the conundrum we're in at the moment. We're finding that the scientists are working to find a chemical application. As you know, it's not the beetle itself. It's the fungus that's attacking the tree. So to get to the beetle or the fungus is becoming quite a challenge, and that's the chemical application. We know that this beetle was in California in 2000, since 2003, and they are yet to find a proper solution. So right now, as much as there are various service providers that are presenting some sort of chemical application, we are saying there's no approved chemical application in South Africa. Our big concern is there are service providers that are telling consumers that they possibly have a solution. We're saying some of these solutions need to go through a very rigorous process with the Department of Environmental Affairs. We've had reports where a molasses-based chemical application resulted in the death of bees. And so we need to be very cautious in terms of what chemicals we are using. This could lead to groundwater contamination and so on. So for us, it's keep your tree healthy, well fertilized, well mulched, make sure that you're inspecting your tree, and unfortunately there's not much we can do at this stage. We're saying box elders, where possible, we will remove them, but rest assured that at this stage Joburg is not in a position to remove every infested tree. That in itself could be an ecological disaster.
So I was just going to ask, does this beetle or does this fungus pose a threat to animals and humans?
Not at this stage, well, not that we know of. This we get our guidance from this FABI, which is the institution that is diagnosing the beetle and monitoring it to a large extent. So we will continue to work with FABI. We met with our counterparts in Durban, and unfortunately we found that their botanic garden has also had symptoms of the beetle. So at this stage, it's not affecting all of our city's canopies, but we are treading very cautiously. We know that in instances where some municipalities were a little bit hasty in removing some of these trees, found out that it wasn't the Polyphagous Shot Hole Borer. So we're saying to residents, rest assured there is a management plan. We are urging you not to remove trees unless it's a box elder and it is a dead.
Okay, so they can call you and you could come out and check for them?
Absolutely. We are doing that where possible. So contact us on trees@jhbcityparks.com or report an infested tree on 011 375 5555.
375 5555 and someone will come out. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. And that's Joburg City Parks' Jenny Moodley.